Hello, everyone. I'm Courtney Twist, and I have Amanda Miller joining me today. And we do not have like a big presentation built out. We're going to have it be a little more open dialogue, and we're going to go over in very real, tactical ways some of the stuff that we've implemented over the last 6 months that has been crazy good with getting us recognized through AI. 5 years ago, it was all about Google, your ranking in Google. Well, that does not really matter anymore. And I'm really excited to share some of the stuff that we've been doing and that we're actually still doing, because as we know, this stuff keeps changing and improving, and we're just trying to kind of stay like one step ahead. Amanda, I'll kind of let you start us off.
Yeah, for sure. So a lot of this dialogue has come from, again, the continuation of conversation around AI and how people search. And that, Courtney had just mentioned that Google was the way of the world. And obviously, many of us still open up that Google Chrome page and do a search, but the search isn't a traditional Google search. It's, Gemini jumping in and the AI component of Google doing that search for you. And ultimately, we kind of wanted to have some open dialogue and talk about some tips and tricks that have worked for both Courtney and I. And a lot of this has come from, conversations with other agents that are applying things that are working. And then a lot of what we pulled from some specific workshops, and I'll drop Tom Berry in there as a reference and a resource point that we've used from a prior workshop, and then obviously layering in from Cabo. So I kind of wanted to start with a little bit of a questionnaire and kind of a self-assessment to say, our digital footprint essentially is what's going to drive familiarity and recognition from consumers on digital platforms for you through AEO. So essentially, it's now answer engine optimization versus search engine optimization. So the conversation has shifted and changed. So the first question I want to ask, just kind of open, has anybody on the call received leads just from their website? Like, hey, I found you online. Like, has anybody had success with that, and how frequently? Anyone? Courtney? Okay. Yeah. Anyone else?
Oh, I know Tom people reaching out, saying that they found you through an AI?
Just found you online. Like, hey, I found you online. Google told me to call you, right? What percentage of our business typically comes from that method?
Not very much.
Not very much, right? Like it's traditionally pretty darn low. And, obviously we know that active methods versus passive approaches certainly drive lead traffic and all of our efforts. But what if we could create something that ran in the background that really helped support in driving traffic to us? I'll tell you, it's funny. Court doesn't even know this. Yesterday, I received a phone call. I had a coaching call at 2:00, and at 3:00, I put my do not disturb back off, and I had a voice message from a listing lead who said, hey, I found you online, and I'm hoping you can come out and talk to my husband and I about selling our rental on Thursday morning. And I'm like, cool, love this. So it's working. And I guess that's the key point. So first question, if someone asked ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude or any of the AI methods, who is the best agent, coach, company in this area, would your name show up in the top 5? Does anyone want to be a guinea? Okay, Miriam says yes. Does anyone want to be a guinea pig? Court, do you want to do a search in a specific area?
I'll be a guinea pig.
Matthew, yeah.
It's not going to come up too much, but anyway, we'll see.
We'll pull it up and let's talk about who does come up.
Yeah, we want to see who shows up. And then I'll tell you what I found 6 months ago and what I find now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to preface that I'm looking to come up in my niche market, right? So my question is not going to be who's the best realtor in my town. I need the answer to be for the question who's the best, who specializes in horse properties or is the best equestrian agent in my town. That is, right. I don't care about the other result as much as this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, even if you came up overall, though, even if they were clients you weren't necessarily wanting to serve, you could refer them.
I could, right? But all my GEO efforts and my efforts are going to be 2 different keywords because that's my market.
And we'll get into that a little bit.
Yeah,
Matt, did you figure out who popped up for you?
Oh, I didn't know I was supposed to go put it in. I thought you guys were doing it.
No, you go for it. Tell us who we'd like to hear about who these people are. So see who pops up and give us your feedback on whether or not you even know them.
The best realtor in Roseville, California. Let's check that.
I'll do a new incognito window so it doesn't. So who is the best realtor in Roseville, California. Okay, so AI overview. I did it on Google, and then AI overview, which Google's using now.
Yep, and Gemini.
Yeah, so it was Jay Friedman, and it says based on high sales volume and positive client reviews, include Jay Freeman, EXP, Johnny Jennings, Made for More Realty, EXP, and Sanit Agarwal, Best Sac Homes Group. He's with a competing company. Other top agents often recommended for their expertise include Melinda Schrader. She's been around, gosh, a long time, 25 plus. Mark Holbrook, interesting. Okay. He's with Realty One Group, and the Parm Atwal Real Estate Team. And that's based on Yelp. So those three have been working Yelp reviews, I guess. I'll click show more. Let's see.
That's probably good.
That's probably good. Go ahead, Court.
I think what we have found in a lot of markets is that a lot of times the agents that pop up are actually terrible agents that actually do very little business. And they're coming from some random obscure websites, which we're going to dive into a little bit. And that's how AI was recognizing them. So that happened after a Tom Ferry event that Amanda and I went to last summer. We both typed in and neither one of us were on our list. And in mine, it was agents that did very little business, even though I've had like the number one market share in my market for years. And we made some critical changes that we're going to talk about today. And I got a call from a buyer last Friday. And I said, well, how did you find me? And he said, oh, I typed in, who's the best realtor in Mariposa, California? And you're the number one that came up. And I want to work with the best. And he's $700,000 price point, which my average is $450 in this market. And we just wrote an offer on it. So It took a few months, but now I'm recognized on Gemini and Claude. Not Claude. I'm not recognized on Claude yet. I'm recognized on Gemini and ChatGPT. So anyway, we'll keep moving on.
Yeah, and a similar experience to Courtney. Obviously, we sat in on the same workshop and we committed to one another that we were going to make these changes and kind of track it and see how we went. And I've had 3 successes, including the one from yesterday. One was a listing that we took and sold. The other is a buyer that is actively shopping and searching and pre-qualified, similar to Courtney's. And then lastly, the listing appointment for Thursday, all just from simple searches that came through AI. So the other thing I was going to ask you about was with those individuals that you were reading, like some of the names you couldn't even pronounce, right? So meaning you don't have familiarity in terms of who these people are in your marketplace, correct?
Well, no, I know Sanit. He used to be the number one Zillow guy for California. So he's done a lot of deals. Johnny Jennings got a big team.
Okay.
So all those people named are actually very successful realtors.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
And I experienced something similar. I think being in a bigger space that has a higher population. I had a mix. I had a mix of larger teams and really well-known agents, and then in addition to that, some people that I've known but don't do a ton of business and honestly don't have the best reputation for client experience in general. So it was kind of shocking, right? So the other thing, Matt, we're going to stick with you. Unfortunately, I think you volunteered as tribute. Can you also just Google your name and agent and see what comes up? Like who is or is Matt Stewart a good agent or a good agent in Roseville, California?
So you want me to put, is Matthew Stewart a good agent?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Like I hate this game.
Okay. Is Matthew Stewart a good agent in Roseville? I should put real estate agent, right?
Correct. Yes. So ultimately what we're looking for here is Google and AI is going to start to find your profiles, right? So at minimum, most of us have, some sort of bio somewhere, right? So whether it's on Instagram, Facebook, or on LinkedIn, or on, Zillow or realtor.com.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's done pretty good. So do you want me to share my screen or?
No, but it found you and it likes you, right? So it's saying positive things about your experiences and who you support and what you're like, correct?
Yeah, it says Matthew's consistently a top realtor for sales in the South Placer County with cities in focus, Granite Bay, Roseville, Rockland, Loomis, Folsom, Lincoln, many foothill communities up and down the 80 and 50 corridor. I mean, that's basically from my website. So I did a lot of work years ago, just kind of like, so then it pops up, Homelight, Homelight, Zillow, My website, MatthewStewartRealEstate.com, Realtor.com, YouTube, Matthew Stewart Real Estate, and it says, who is Matthew Stewart Real Estate at eXp Realty, Facebook, Matthew Stewart Real Estate Team Rockland, another YouTube video.
Rate My Agent has you with 4 5-star reviews as well.
That's
Okay.
great. Yeah,
And
that's
then
great.
LinkedIn. Yeah. So it's all, good. It's all there.
Great. And so ultimately, all of us doing these activities, and I would say, every single person on this call, when we're done, I would encourage you to do this. And I would do it with frequency. One, because then because AI is continually growing and being fed information, the information changes. The data it's pulling from evolves. And so we have to update alongside that, right? So in your initial search, when you were on Gemini, and you could do the same thing with chat, as Courtney's done quite a bit. At that point, it's recognizing sources, right? So it's saying where it's getting its information. So there's a solid activity to be able to go into those sources and see if there's an opportunity for you to create a platform or a profile in those specific places and spaces. And then on the contrary, Matt, where you had just done it through Google, ultimately, and you specifically, it's pulling up your profiles, right? It's giving you those sources. So making sure that your message on all of those platforms is cohesive. I think some of us have profiles on platforms that maybe feel outdated or old, and they may have keywords that are great, but ultimately AI is being fed not by keywords like Google would have been. It's being fed by answers to questions because it's an answer platform. So are you answering questions in your bio instead of simply saying, who you are or what your digital resume is? Court, do you want to touch a little bit on some of the platforms that you found as far as sources?
So before we get into what platforms that you guys need to be looking at, when you go, let's just use chat since most of us use chat, right? Or Gemini through Google. When you're going in there, I want you to ask chat, please optimize my bio for AI searchability. So plug in the bio that you have, maybe from your website, have it optimize it. Then you're going to look at the sources when you ask it, who's the best realtor in blank, blank. Look at what sources they're referencing, and you're going to go change your bio on all of those. That way, they're all consistently AI searchable. And some of the platforms that we've seen the most is Fast Expert, which I never get anything off of it, but that's number one because it's considered a notable directory. So fastexpert.com, Google My Business is humongous. All of the large language models reference Google My Business. If you do not have a Google My Business profile, you're shooting yourself in the foot, and you need to update it, and you need to get as many reviews as you possibly can. So Fast Expert, Google My Business, and then like some of the stuff Matt said, HomeLight, Homes.com, UpNest. Some of these to me are kind of random. Of course, Rate My Agent, like Dawn brought up. And then how long ago was it since you updated your Realtor or your Zillow profiles? It could have been a while ago. All those need to be consistent and they all need to be updated. Even Reddit, you guys, they're searching and referencing Reddit like crazy. So if you can go on and respond to things, it will help build your trust authority. And those are the type of things that the LLMs are looking at.
I'd also, does everybody here have I guess we don't necessarily need to pull, but when you think about your website and what you offer there and putting content out, the name of the game is, again, that digital footprint. So if searchability is reliant upon information it's fed, then there needs to be information out there, right? And there's specific types of information that seem to feed AEO more so than simple bios. So obviously, that being step one, to optimize and make sure that it's pulling that information so that it's keying in on answers to questions and who you are to a consumer versus keywords. But in addition to that, if you have a website, I would really encourage doing some sort of blogs or longer form content that does help feed. And what AEO is looking for is validating you as an authority, right? So if it's looking to answer questions, if you create checklists to say, this is how you can effectively get something done, even if it's as simple as like a pre-listing checklist. They seem like elementary tools that if someone were to go onto your website and search for tools, they may or may not use it or find it relevant. bit, but AI is finding you to be an authority because you've provided guidance on a concept. The other component is frequently asked questions. So again, if you're asking consumer questions that are standardized and seem pretty simple and basic that consumers would be looking for, at that point, you're answering those, right? So you're establishing yourself as the authority in that space. This versus that is also a really good one. Go ahead, Don.
So let's talk about what questions that you might answer. Like, for example, what school district would this home be in might be a good one to answer. Trying to think of other ones like what's the tax rate? What were you going to say, Courtney?
Well, the better way to word those are what are the top 3 schools in our area? What are top 5 reasons that people move to Mariposa, California? They really, really like those structured lists.
Yeah. Okay. And then if you're honing in on one specific subject, what are the top 3 things I can do to my home to improve my equity or price point? It's other simple ones, which again, you'd need to update consistently would be, what's an expected average? How long will it take to sell my house in Fresno, California? So thinking about what should I look for in a realtor? So things that people would actually ask to better understand, the real estate. And you could gear them toward a multitude of things, right? So consumer questions about the buying and selling process, consumer questions about the area that you specialize in, consumer questions about process, and to-dos, right? Another one would be, I think I just briefly mentioned this versus that. So essentially saying, instead of this, we encourage you do this, right? So my best example on that would be on pricing strategy. Many people think that if you price high, you allow for room to negotiate, and that's simply just not true. So instead of this, do this. Again, it's establishing you as an authority. The other style of list versus checklist would be like top 10 lists. So, the top 10 things to think about or consider when buying a home in Mariposa, California, or the top 10 things not to do when preparing your house for market. Those sorts of things, again, help establish you as an authority.
I want to say one thing before we answer Jackie's question along those same lines. If you're not really sure what to ask, guess what? You can go to this website. It's answerthepublic.com, and you can search for what people are searching for. Literally, you can see what people are entering into Google and what their search terms and keywords and questions are, and you can reference those to give you some ideas.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Right. Jackie.
And then go ahead with Jackie's question, Courtney.
Yeah, just really quick. Could you repeat kind of what you had said before? Please optimize my bio.
Yep. So pull your bio, say from your website, and you're going to say, please see my current bio below, which you're going to copy and paste in there, and optimize it for LLM and or AI searchability.
Okay, thank you.
And I typed it in the chat too, if you want to copy and paste.
Oh, thank you.
By the way, I would say that this may be one of the most valuable Atomic Habit calls that we've had in a year already. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Courtney.
Yeah.
So about, you can't tell.
I think part of it is being consistent with it, which again, I guess the whole concept of atomic habits, right? And ensuring that you're checking in with frequency. We kind of like to set it and forget it in our industry because we have, a million different things to do, and being able to schedule yourself to verify and validate things and make sure that they're updated and on track. Even if it's quarterly, this doesn't have to be, a weekly thing. You essentially could say, I'm reviewing my finances. I'm reviewing my marketing plan. I'm reviewing all of my bios and my digital footprint. I also wanted to say that thank you for the props, Don, on our concept. Grab an accountability partner. I'm going to dive into a couple different platforms that seem unorthodox, and some other tips and tricks. But Courtney and I had challenged one another on our Google Business reviews, and so Google Business gives you points, right? So if you have reviews, that's helpful, and that ups increases your odds of being identified in searches. In addition to that, when you comment on all of your reviews, you're also changing that algorithm and increasing how you're coming up and showing up. So you're then engaging with people who are doing reviews. So if people have done reviews for you, go back in and respond to those reviews. Even if it's been a year, it doesn't matter. Go back in and do it. Courtney and I decided to do a March Madness challenge and encourage one another to get Google reviews. So we did a little check-in this week and kind of giggled. So in the matter of, has it been about a week now, Court?
Yeah, less than a week.
Yeah, and I've gone from 18 to 41 reviews.
And I've gone from 5 to 20. So.
Wow.
And that was just with some simple focus. Like neither one of us did anything astronomical. We reached out to, I did a push to past clients. I asked a few vendors. I'm in a referral network. So like a specific group of agents. So quite a few of us did them for one another. I went back in and started responding to some. I sent out my ops manager sent an email to a few, past clients and members of our community too, that would be willing to do one. So obviously not everybody takes the time to do it, but if you focus on it and kind of up that and make it an emphasis, again, is that something you could do quarterly? It really does change the name of the game. And I do think that dramatically increased and impacted the phone call I got yesterday. So I also wanted to kind of shift into other platforms that Courtney had mentioned, Fast Break, HomeLight, Homes.com. Any opportunity you have to tie your name to something local and in your community and real estate related that feels on brand to you, I sign up for everything. So I am on the local labor union. I am on their website as a preferred realtor. It's $100 donation a year. That's it. And I pop up as one of their top 3 realtor choices for anybody within the labor union. I'm also on what's called triple.com. They reached out to me and asked if they could do a feature article. I landed on the top agents there. So if you search me, that's one of the sites that comes up. Homes.com reached out to me at one point and asked if they could interview me around a particular neighborhood in Fresno to be the authority and share my insight about how I felt about that neighborhood or how people were talking about it. So now that article is published. This was 3 years ago and it still comes up in searches. So my point is simply being, if you have an opportunity to put yourself in a digital space, that imprint lives. It doesn't go away. It exists forever. It's being pulled and relied upon and resourced for content and searchability.
It's called evergreen content. It's just like with YouTube is evergreen, right? And that's the direction that we're going in general with evergreen content and videos. And this all kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah. So overall, I guess everybody's kind of, Dawn had said this is great content and great feedback. Has anybody done some of these steps and seen some results anywhere? I know, Miriam, you had indicated that you're doing a lot of work in one specific sector and a specialization. Do you want to share what's worked so far for you?
Well, so to answer Dawn's question, the biggest takeaway from that conference was, well, we better jump on the AI train, right?
Right.
So I spent 3 days coming back using ChatGPT to help me build a GEO site in Lovable just under my name, personal name, to tie my name into my website that covers the niche market so that there was like a full circle. And yes, I'm checking all platforms on what the results are. And it's been, my business is 90% website stuff. So wow. I don't, that's because my background is SEO marketing. So now I have to learn to translate that into GEO, AEO marketing. But I have multiple buyers call me, that are coming to the area saying that that's how they found me, that they ask AI. So it's definitely working. It's going to take many more sleepless nights getting it all set up and monitored, but it's 100% working and worth it.
Well, awesome. And has anyone else started to play in this world or seen any results? Are we saying things you already know in spaces, or does this feel like new opportunities and ideas?
I think I saw Jackie shaking her head that she's been doing some of it.
Well, certainly not as effective as you guys. I did start a Google Sheet, and I started writing articles for my website based on different areas of expertise in different areas of town. And that's as far as I've gotten. So I love the kind of short circuit instructions here. So thank you guys very much, because I haven't gotten very far.
Well, Jackie, to kind of piggyback on what you're already doing, so those are blogs basically, and of course you can use AI to write your blogs, or the majority of them, right? You could like line out a whole year's worth of content, which was something else we learned in Tom Ferry last year. And then you can actually automate, if you want to get comfortable, Zapier, where those post every single week to your Google My Business profile. And if you attach your articles you're writing to your Google My Business profile, you're going to increase your searchability again by so much more.
Okay. So I attach my articles to Google. Do I link it or what?
There's a spot where you can link them in there.
Yeah. And I to kind of piggyback on that concept and saying, you don't have to create 37 things, right? And I'll go through kind of a checklist of like key takeaways of what to do first, second, next to kind of audit yourself before we get off the call today. But I think if I'm writing a blog and I am sharing something specific and answering a question, I'm taking that same content and I'm asking AI to help me create a newsletter centered around that, right? And then I'm taking that content and then that's going out as my newsletter for that month, or 2 within the month to my client base. So no matter what, the message has some cohesion in terms of who's searching me and then what's going out, and you're dual purposing the content. So if you can put it on a blog and it helps increase your AEO, if you can then turn it into a newsletter and blast it out to your clients, or let that also have an imprint page of previous newsletters on a website, and then you're also uploading that link to your Google business page, you're using that content in 3 different ways that are all feeding. And again, it's impacting and increasing your digital footprint.
Okay. So you're saying on the Google My Business page, put a link to my blog, that specific blog.
I
right?
would. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And so like I've written like 80 articles. I mean, I'm telling you.
Start uploading all of them, because then at that point, that's a direct tie-in link, and it's going to just everything when you're condensing and adding to each one of these platforms, you are impacting an algorithm that says this particular person, site, or entity is more valuable because it's now an authority. So the more you're feeding context and subject into each particular sector, the more you are creating an established authoritative voice. And that's the aim.
Love it. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions come up? Okay. So
I do.
Go.
Can you please, I put in the chat, you list the top 5 or 6 AI, answer platforms or whatever? I got ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude. What else?
Or do you want to jump in?
Those are the main ones. Grok is another one. It's not utilized near as much, but I think it might be increasing. I'm not sure. I think the ones that most people are still currently using are Chat and Gemini. Those are the number 2 that majority of people are using. I think Claude is next. And I just tried myself in Claude this morning and noticed that it referenced more websites than what Chat and Gemini were referencing. But those are the main ones. And if I were to focus on platforms, like if I wanted to pick 5 sites to really make sure my profile's built out, it would be Fast Expert, HomeLight, Homes.com, and probably Rate My Agent. What else? And then you should already have a Zillow and Realtor.
And then just making sure that your Google business page is set up and has the current accurate information. The other thing to note is, Courtney had mentioned in ensuring that you're optimizing that bio for AI for each of those particular platforms. But honestly, your image and headshot should be the same and consistent throughout. And then your title and the area you cover and any area of expertise that kind of travels with you should also be consistent on all of those platforms. Obviously, it lays out different per, but for example, if mine says Amanda Miller, Realtor and Relocation Expert, Central California, it says that everywhere, right? And that's the aim, is it's going to pull that with me on every platform.
So I'm sorry for throwing too much at you, but one more thing. Okay. So Instagram and Facebook, obviously your bios have to be very short, and they're different than the bio you're going to have on all these other platforms. You can also take a screenshot of that or copy and paste it into Chat or Gemini, ask it to optimize that for social media. But the main thing that you have to make sure is it has your name, your like Amanda just said, name, title, and the area you serve. So previously my Instagram said Courtney Twist / I think I said broker is all I had. I added in there Courtney Twist, real estate broker, Mariposa, California. And I ended up changing the verbiage under mine to make it more searchable with AI. And it's different than on my website.
So if I were to provide a checklist of steps leaving here, because I feel like we've laid a whole lot on you guys, the first thing I would say is to do the two activities. So one, search who the top agents are and look at the sources that AI is pulling from. And I would do ChatGPT and Gemini as your main sources and see what comes up on both of them. And it does give a little source link and tells you where it got its information. And then maybe spend a little time in those sources and say, do I have a platform there? What does my bio look like there? Can I create a bio there or a profile if I don't already have one? So I would do that activity first. The next I would do is look your name up, right? And see what comes up and what's being said about you. And if it's standard and generic, if it kind of feels all over the board, even if it feels outdated, just so you have context and awareness. And then I would go through all of those particularly real estate focused websites that Courtney just mentioned. So I'd be looking at Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin, HomeLight, Homes.com, Google Business. Fast Expert is one that I know I'm with Courtney. It's really difficult to complete your profile. So there's a lot of steps, but do it. Put the languages you speak, put the areas you cover, put everything, do the video that it asks you to upload, do every single part of the profile, because that does feed. And then optimize all your bios in all of those areas. And then next step would be to go into the social media component and look at your title and is it cohesive and optimized for those specific spaces. And then lastly, I would kind of do a self-check in terms of the content you already are putting out. And is there an opportunity to change that or repurpose it in different places? Or can you create a space where a blog or longer form content or content that will feed AI can live?
Yep.
Court, did I miss anything?
Nope. I think that's a good start. And you guys are welcome to reach out to us anytime. If you guys have more questions, go ahead, Jackie.
Yes. So let's just say agents are really busy and would love to get this going. And, like if we said, let's really get things moving within a month, like how much time would you anticipate this would take? A day or a week, or what are your thoughts on that?
Do you want to share?
The majority of it in a day after I compared that last year. But it didn't show up immediately. And I'm actually not 100% sure how long it takes. I think it's going faster now than it was last year. But I was only aware of me being number one as of a week ago. And I did all this like last July.
Sure.
Or majority of it. Or so I started it.
To get this in place, like how much time would a busy agent need to commit to, putting this in place? If you didn't have a full day, if we did a month, 30, 40 minutes a day or an hour.
Do a little bit of time, right? Start with optimizing your bio. And then I would say number 2, go work on your Google My Business.
Yep. Same.
Those are day 1. And then your next slot of time, you go and you start working on some of those profiles.
And the profile component, once you optimize it, essentially it's a copy and paste. It's a copy, paste, save, copy, paste, save. So you go and you delete your old one and you update your profile. And, I, similar to Court, I did all of that in a day also. Yes, I know we're busy and fitting it in is tough, but to say, okay, maybe it's over the span of a week and say, I'm going to spend an hour a day for a week and get this handled. As far as the blog, so like on our website, we try to publish one a week, even if it's a simple checklist. And you, again, can ask AI to create that agenda for you. Like, please create me, 52 weeks worth of content for a blog around real estate that includes checklists, frequently asked questions, and let it give you that calendar so that you don't have to think about what you're going to publish, and then it will publish them for you too. So then you're in a copy and paste mode if you're truly using. And Jackie, it sounds like you've got these great published articles, which is fantastic. And I'm sure they're beautifully well written and gorgeous. You could probably upload it and say, using my same tone, write me a mirroring article or pull a checklist out of this article that would be valuable to consumers, and use what you already have.
Yeah, that's I've got a AI bot that is optimized for writing great articles. So
yeah, perfect. Okay. Yeah. Tom, did you have something?
Yeah, so I just wanted to share. I think one of my biggest takeaways from Cabo was to leverage everything that EXP and our organization has for support. So I just typed into AI just now, what does EXP have for AI support? And it says EXP is leading the industry with proprietary tools like Mira, which is an AI business assistant, Luna, which is an AI support chat box, our CRM, we've got Close, we've got Bold Trail, we've got KV Core CRM, which highly leverages AI, our training. EXP has an amazing AI accelerator series. Sign up for that. Revenos is also taking advantage of AI tools with all of these high internet leads. So that's what I wanted to add. So yeah, this is great. We're with a great company, great collaboration. And this is so awesome to have each other to share for positivity, for support, and also to just, let's not face it, the real estate market's been tough, but this just adds to our momentum and adds to our positive business and our growth. But number one, take action. Let's just take, even if you do one thing from this call, take action. So that's all I have to share. Did you want to wrap up, Courtney or Amanda?
Yeah, I have taken action. I have one favor for you guys. I just posted in the chat. Oh, shoot. Where did it go? Hang on. It keeps trying to give me my, here we go. Can you guys please give me a 5-star review in Google so I can beat Amanda? I'm way behind her. So that's my link. Amanda, you can't put yours in here. I just need a 5-star review, and then we're all good to go. And I will do a one-on-one with any of you.
Will you reimburse with a 5-star review for us?
If you give me a 5-star review, I will give you a 5-star review. Sorry, Amanda.
Oh my goodness.
Deal. I'll do it.
See if I come on as a guest for you again, Courtney, and co-facilitate. Right.
Yeah.
Hey, we're competitive. All right. I think that's it, Tom. If you want
Amanda, you text me your link. I'm going to cheat and I'm going to give you one anyway.
I'll do it too if you give me one.
Me too.
We're all about reciprocity up here. So by all means, shameless, Courtney, shameless.
Seriously, having this group together just between us to give each other the 5-star review and reverse is. We're all here. We all need the reviews. So let's just look at the attendance list and start knocking out a couple 5-star reviews for each other.
100%. I would caution if you do too many, Google thinks you're a bot. So just do a couple a day. Otherwise, it will start to delete them because it doesn't think you're a real person. Yeah. So be careful.
Yeah. If I may make a comment, in Cabo, Leo Robles did an amazing talk on AI for agent attraction. I know that will be recorded and come out on Brent's site. I highly recommend to review that. And I actually had Leo on my Inner Circle Zoom last night, and it was phenomenal. And so just, optimizing this for agent attraction, and what he does, and he has it all laid out, gives you a playbook, an outline on how to do it properly. He does profiles. If he's attracting an agent, he does a profile on that agent that he gives to the agent, along with a business plan based on what that agent wants to accomplish. And it just beats out any competition. It's just really well done.
Hey, Clark, did you record that?
I did.
Could you text or email that to Megan or me so that we can post it up at Atomic?
I will. I have my VA cleaning it up a little bit. And as soon as I have that edited, I'll send that up to you.
Thank you.
We can see if we can get him on here. I think he was on here last year, maybe, or I might be getting mixed up with the 1% Club, but I bet you he would come on here.
Yeah, he was on the 1% Club last year too. What he's created since then is more advanced and a whole playbook on it. And I mean, it takes 5 minutes to do this for an agent that you're trying to attract. And
I'm sorry. Go ahead. And then
I just think it's really well done.
So you guys, if you were in Cabo, you probably saw, like Clark did, that Leo arguably had the strongest presentation there.
Yes.
And what is important for you to keep in mind is that if you have a recruit in Southern California, you can have Leo be your co-sponsor.
Yeah.
Okay. So the beauty of this co-sponsorship at EXP is we now have 85,000 agents that are the best in each of the things that they do at your availability. So keep in mind, if you've got a recruit in Southern California, man, I know I'm gonna pull Leo in. I mean, why wouldn't I want him as my partner in helping that agent succeed?
He also has physical offices down there too. I've worked with him a little bit, and like Inland Empire, Palmdale. He's got a huge network, so it's really good to work with.
Yeah. By the way, Courtney, I want you to know I got 11 points from Google for giving you a 5-star review too.
See, win-win.
I hope you're all ready to get some text messages and emails from me, because I'm going to be hitting everyone up here shortly. Courtney.
Yeah, I just gave you one. What's your phone number so I can send you my business?
209-769-0532.
There you go, Amanda. There's my phone number. I got to bounce.
Thank you guys. Thanks, everybody, for participating and hanging out with us today.
Okay, thanks, guys. This was awesome. So y'all got your inspiration. Time to put in the perspiration. And like Tony Robbins says, the path to success is to take massive focused action. Let's go. Have a good day. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks, Courtney. Thanks, Amanda. That was absolutely amazing.
Good job, Amanda.
Good. Thanks, Court. Best partner ever. Have a good day, guys.